The used SUV market has a pricing problem, and it almost always works in your favor if you know which three vehicles the average buyer keeps walking past. Three SUVs are collecting dust on used car lots across the country right now. Dealers cannot move them. Asking prices keep dropping. And yet, the people who actually understand how engines work, the ones pulling transmissions apart every day, are quietly putting these exact vehicles in their own driveways. Not as weekend projects. Not as beaters. As primary family transportation. These are machines that push past 300,000 miles on nothing more than scheduled oil changes and fresh brake pads, sitting on lots for thousands below what they deserve because buyers walk right past them. People pour money into slightly used RAV4S and CRVs every single week, while these three just wait. Three underrated used SUVs, the kind that gives Toyota-grade longevity at a fraction of the premium price. Starting at number 3 and going deepest on number 1, the pick that should completely reshape how anyone approaches the used SUV market. Number 3. The Kia Sorento. This is an SUV that any experienced technician actually enjoys working on, not because it breaks frequently, but because when something eventually does need attention, parts are accessible and affordable. Right now, clean examples are sitting at under $15,000. Picture a customer walking in, ready to pull the trigger on a 2017 Ford Explorer with 92,000 miles. The asking price was $18,500. Going through the service records and running through what was likely coming due revealed the real story that turbocharged EcoBoost was going to need serious cooling system work within a year and a half. The total bill would have wiped out any perceived value from the purchase. The better option was a 2018 Kia Sorento SX with the V6, 58,000 miles, at $14,200. More power, better long-term outlook, over $4,000 cheaper. He bought it. 16 months later, the total repair bill was $112. One oil change and a cabin air filter. Here is what most people miss about the third-generation Sorento, the 2016 through 2020 range. Kia genuinely solved their reliability issues with this generation. The 3-litre Lambda 2 V6 is a naturally aspirated engine, which means there are no turbos sitting there waiting to develop boost leaks or intercooler issues. The timing setup uses a chain, not a belt, and it is designed to outlast the rest of the vehicle. The transmission is a proper 8-speed torque converter automatic, not a dual-clutch unit, not a CVT. A traditional automatic developed alongside Hyundai over several production cycles, refined until it shifts cleanly and holds up under real-world loads. The piece most buyers overlook entirely is Kia's powertrain warranty structure. If the vehicle is within 10 years and 100,000 miles of the original purchase date, that coverage still applies to a used buyer. That kind of protection simply does not exist from most other manufacturers. On the pricing side, a 2018 Sorento with the V6 and under 80,000 miles typically trades between $13,000 and $16,000. A same-year Toyota Highlander in comparable condition runs $22,000 to $26,000. That spread is $8,000 to $10,000 for an SUV that, in practical terms, offers comparable long-term reliability. Timing chain service on the Sorento, if it ever actually becomes necessary, runs roughly $900. The same job on a 3.5-litre EcoBoost Explorer starts at $1,800, and that assumes the turbo seals have not started weeping oil. When inspecting one of these, start with the oil. The early 4-litre 4-cylinder Sorrentos from 2011 through 2014 had documented engine issues. Stick with the V6 exclusively. Next, find an empty parking lot and run the all-wheel drive through full lock circles in both directions. Smooth and quiet means everything is healthy. Binding or clunking means walk away. Check the touchscreen for delamination. It is an annoyance rather than a mechanical problem, but it costs around $350 to address and signals something about how carefully the previous owner treated the interior. And take a close look at the third row area. If the back of a family SUV looks beaten up, the rest of it probably got the same treatment. A 3-row V6 family hauler with a remaining factory warranty and a purchase price that would embarrass Honda. The only thing holding this vehicle back in the market is a brand perception that stopped being accurate about 15 years ago. 2. The Mazda CX-5. Repair costs on the CX-5 run lower than any other compact SUV currently tracked below the RAV4, below the CR-V, and it loses value in the used market, like something is genuinely wrong with it. Nothing is wrong with it. A 2017 CX-5 rolled in recently with 158,000 miles. Original owner, bought new, drove it for 8 years straight. The request was simple: figure out what big-ticket maintenance was coming. It went up on the lift. Suspension, brakes, undercarriage, pulled diagnostic codes, pulled the transmission fluid. The result? Nothing. Original spark plugs were still within spec. The recommendation was to come back at 190,000 miles. The owner genuinely looked skeptical. That reaction shows up regularly with these cars. What Mazda did with the second-generation CX-5 starting in 2017 was make a deliberate choice to stay simple, while everyone else was layering on complexity. The Skyactiv G 2.5-litre four-cylinder has no turbo to fail. It uses a timing chain paired with a 6-speed traditional automatic that has been in proven service for well over a decade. The engineering detail worth noting is the compression ratio 13:1, higher than most performance cars. That figure translates to cleaner combustion, better fuel efficiency, and an engine that runs more efficiently over time rather than accumulating carbon deposits the way lower compression designs sometimes do. RepairPal gives the CX-5 a 4.5 out of 5 reliability rating, the highest in its class. Average annual maintenance lands around $447 against a segment average of $573 and a broader vehicle average of $652. The odds of a major repair on a CX-5 sit at 8%. For the average compact SUV, that figure is 13%. Over 100,000 miles of ownership, that difference is real money. A 2018 CX-5 touring with 70,000 miles goes for 15 to 18,000. A 2018 RAV 4XLE with similar mileage is 20 to 23,000. $5,000 more for an SUV that costs more to maintain over time and, frankly, drives with less engagement. The most expensive single repair ever performed on a Skyactiv CX-5 was a water pump replacement at 148,000 miles, $580 total. The average surprise repair bill on a same-age CR-V runs around $950. Driving a used example, pay attention to 3 things. The infotainment rotary knob, if it feels sloppy or gummy, that tells you something about how the previous driver handled their belongings. On the highway, accelerate from 45 to 70 miles per hour and hold steady. Any shudder or hesitation points to motor mounts, which run about $400 to replace. Work that into the negotiation if it shows up. Around the rear wheel arches and hood edges on 2017 and 2018 models, look carefully for paint bubbling. Certain climate regions saw minor adhesion problems on early production runs. Who is this for? Anyone who wants a vehicle that actually feels good to drive, rather than just functional. The CX-5 handles with a precision that belongs in a different category. Mazda's engineers have always prioritized how their cars feel behind the wheel, and this platform is the clearest evidence of that philosophy. Anyone stretching past 200,000 miles and wanting the lowest possible maintenance overhead should stop looking at other options. This is the answer. Who should consider something else? Anyone needing maximum cargo volume, the CX-5 gives up some interior space to achieve its car-like handling. Anyone needing serious four-wheel traction in deep off-road situations should look at a more capable platform. And if the plan is to sell in 3 years and recoup value, the market still has not adjusted to how good Mazda actually builds these, so resale will not reflect reality. The math on a CX-5 works out to roughly $2,800 in total maintenance, across 150,000 miles of driving. There is no other compact SUV that competes with those numbers. Number 1. The Toyota Highlander. 3 rows. The same drivetrain family as the Lexus RX, the same foundational reliability as the 4Runner, more usable space than either. And it sells for $6,000 to $10,000 less than both, because buyers associate it with school pickup lines rather than engineering competence. A customer came in 2 years ago, mid-40s, professional, daily highway commuting, plus regular family trips. Budget was $28,000, and she had been researching Lexus RX models. When the Highlander came up, she laughed and said that was a soccer mom car and she wanted something with more presence. She got walked outside to the shop parking lot and shown a personal vehicle, a 2016 Highlander Limited, sitting at 192,000 miles, purchased at 85,000 miles for $19,500, with roughly 2,100 total spent on maintenance across that entire stretch, including a full brake job, new tyres, and a water pump at 175,000 miles. She bought a 2017 Highlander XLE the following week for $21,800 with 68,000 miles. She recently reported hitting 138,000 miles with zero mechanical issues. Her exact question back was why nobody talks about this SUV. The reason this platform earns that kind of loyalty is the engine. The three. 5-litre, 2GR, FE, and 2GR, FKS. V6 found in the 2014 through 2019. Third generation Highlander is the same engine family that powers the Lexus RX 350, not a cousin. Not an inspired by. The same block, the same cylinder heads, the same engineering philosophy. The 2GR family is widely considered the most dependable six-cylinder Toyota has ever produced. There is no direct injection carbon buildup problem like some newer engine designs carry, no timing belt interval to schedule, no turbocharger to develop boost pressure issues. It runs a chain, naturally aspirated, and just keeps going. 4 separate examples have personally come through the shop north of 300,000 miles with original transmissions still in service. The 8-speed automatic that Toyota paired with this engine starting in 2017 is smooth, well calibrated and extremely durable. The 6-speed used before 2017 is equally reliable. Slightly lower fuel efficiency is the only meaningful difference. A 2017 Highlander XLE with 80,000 miles trades between 20 and 24,000. A 2017 Lexus RX 350 with the same mileage runs 27 to 32,000. That is a $7,000 to $8,000 gap for vehicles that share the same mechanical foundation. The Lexus carries a nicer badge and somewhat better cabin materials. Everything under the hood traces back to identical engineering. For comparison, a 2017 4Runner Limited at 80,000 miles commands 32,000 to 38,000 more expensive than many Highlanders, with a smaller interior and worse fuel consumption. The 4Runner makes sense for genuine off-road use. For family daily duty, the Highlander is the smarter calculation. Real shop pricing on maintenance, not dealer rates. Full 4-wheel brake job, $320. Transmission fluid service, $195. Water pump replacement if it ever becomes necessary, $680. These are the actual numbers. When shopping for one, start by running the VIN through Toyota's recall database. Some 2014 through 2016 examples in hot climates developed dashboard cracking issues. Toyota extended coverage on this, but verify has been addressed. Tyre wear pattern on the front axle tells you whether alignment was maintained. Uneven wear is not a deal breaker, but is worth $150 off the asking price and a same-day alignment. The Entune infotainment system on higher mileage examples can develop touchscreen lag, run through every function during the test drive, and budget $400 for a replacement head unit if it seems unreliable. The best purchase scenario is finding one with a single family of ownership, ideally empty nesters. Owners who have finished raising kids tend to keep their vehicles garaged, service them on schedule, and drive with considerably less aggression. A grandparent-owned Highlander at 65,000 miles is essentially a new car with depreciation already absorbed. This vehicle makes sense for people who drive long distances regularly. It was engineered for sustained highway use, quiet at speed, comfortable over distance, fuel efficient for a 3-row V6. It makes sense for anyone who wants Lexus tier dependability without the Lexus price premium, roughly 90% of the experience at 70% of the cost. And the second row is genuinely large, with a third row that functions for adults on shorter trips. It does not make sense for anyone who places high value on driving engagement. The Highlander is a composed, comfortable family vehicle and drives exactly like one. It does not make sense for serious off-road requirements. And it is a large vehicle at just over 194 inches long, which is worth considering in tight urban environments. As a single used vehicle recommendation for the next decade of ownership at the lowest total cost, this is the answer. The market undervalues it. Mechanics know it. The numbers confirm it. 3 SUVs the market forgot to price correctly. A Kia Sorento with a legitimate powertrain warranty and a V6 that simply refuses to wear out. A Mazda CX-5 that depreciates like something is broken with it, but drives and maintains like nothing is. And a Toyota Highlander sharing an engine with a luxury badge, sitting on lots at family hauler prices because buyers read the hood ornament before reading the spec sheet. The next time a salesperson steers toward a 3-year-old European lease return with an unknown service history, the math above tells a different story.